As spooky season begins to wind down and we flow through autumn into the holiday season, I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm not ready to move on yet. I haven't finished scratching that spooky season itch quite yet, and, well, I have a few more spooky season tricks up my sleeve before we start embracing the Yuletide vibe around these parts. There's just something so special about Halloween and the magic surrounding it. I absolutely love it. Especially considering that as far as Halloween specials and spooky episodes go, there's just so many different directions that the writers can go. Some shows lean into a serious and scary direction, while others go for a more zany and wacky approach. As far as the latter goes, however, there are so many shows and episodes that come to mind, but the king of them all might just be Rocko's Modern Life. This show was just so bizarre and chock full of hidden jokes that you may have missed. Furthermore, the writers weren't afraid to go there. For example, the one where we see Heifer's grandma living in heck and bullying Peaches, the Rocko's Modern Life version of the devil. There's just so much that was wild about this show, and that's why today, on our nostalgic walk down memory lane, we're gonna check out possibly one of the wildest episodes. The Halloween special, Sugar Frosted Frights. Now, really quick, this is super important. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube journey by clicking on this video. Whether you've seen my videos before or not, I want you to know that you are really important to me, and I'm so glad that you're here right now. The world is such a better place because you're in it, and I hope that everything in your surroundings treats you with all of the love that you deserve. I truly hope you're all having an amazing day, and with that being said, let's dive right into it.
This is a tale of madness, of wicked evil, of dark and foreboding shadows that will chill you to the bone. This is the terrible tale of the Hopping Hessian.
Well, as you can see, everything's very scary here on Halloween Eve in O-Town. Back to you, Frank.
We cut on over to Action News, where we see the anchor finishing up a spotlight on Dr. Hutchison, who came by with safety tips for all the little boys and ghouls. The anchor ends his segment by jokingly warning everyone to watch out for the Hopping Hessian when he comes looking for his missing leg tonight, and honestly guys, right out of the gate, I am so confused. What's even going on here? We're like, 25 seconds in, and it's already just pure chaos, and I have no idea what's even happening. Like, this guy begins our tale and burns the crap out of himself, but then this reporter out in the field is apparently interviewing him? And why is Dr. Hutchison, of all people, giving safety advice to kids at this news station? Also, I thought she was a dentist, not a pediatrician. I guess, to be fair, we've seen her being a cashier, a veterinarian, and countless other things too, so, I mean, that one isn't all too surprising. But also, my brain's sense of wanting some continuity to cling on to in literally anything here is just completely out the window, and I'm scared.
The heck's a Hessian?
Ready?
Dude, Rocko's really big man costume is so sick. He looks awesome. I only have one question though. Where are the nipples? I mean, everyone knows that really big man has really big nipples that attach to people's eyeballs and show them the future. Usually you can see those massive Hershey's Kisses poking through his outfit. By all means, I don't know how much Rocko paid for this costume, but Halloween costumes are usually really expensive. At minimum, they could have made it anatomically correct. Regardless of its lack of nipples though, it's a sweet costume. Rocko asks Heifer where his costume is, and he responds by turning off the light and showing off the glow-in-the-dark face that he painted on his stomach, saying that he's going out as the Hopping Hessian. We see the two of them run out of the house, and wait a sec, hold on. Do you see what I see? Are those massive Hershey's Kiss nipples on Rocko's costume now? Which can be seen plain as day from this faraway wide shot of his house? They sure are. I wouldn't miss them anywhere. Okay though, that's enough about really, really big man's really, really big nipples. No more. The two friends run down the street and we cut over to Filbert's trailer, which is just completely covered in toilet paper and no trespassing signs. Rocko and Heifer approach as really, really big man's nipples are now replaced with stars, and I'm having a really hard time not talking about it. The two friends are both spooked and apprehensive to enter Filbert's trailer. Heifer shoves Rocko in, and the two end up finding Filbert hiding in a corner under a blanket.
Please go away.
Filbert, what's the matter?
Leave me alone. They're coming to get you, Filbert. They're coming to eat your head. He's a turtle.
Okay guys, I'll admit, that was a really good scare for a cartoon. Especially one as lighthearted and wacky as this one. They even got me a bit. I think it's the sudden reveal of the empty shell combined with that extremely tense music. Like, seeing this same shot without the music, I don't know guys, it just doesn't really land the same here. On the other hand though, when I take that same exact music and put it over, let's say, a shot of my dogs playing with each other, it also just doesn't land the same. However, when we put them together, oh man, it's just perfect. So spooky, very Rocko, love it. We see Heifer walk up to Filbert's shell and just straight up stick his head in.
Come on out, Phil. We're all friends here. Pain.
Okay, come on, Heifer. What did you expect? For a turtle, this is the ultimate violation of privacy. Of course you get bit. I will admit though, I was surprised to find out that Filbert is apparently a snapping turtle.
Phil, are you coming out of there or what? Ooh, cool. Will I ever find true love? Okay, I'm out. Knock it off.
Okay, this one was just way too funny. Filbert turning into a magic 8-ball is clever, but Heifer asking it about true love was downright comedy gold. This all just makes me so happy knowing that Tom Kenny, aka SpongeBob SquarePants, is the man behind this voice. He truly does such a great job of breathing life into every character that he takes on, and Heifer might be the best example of that. If you watch interviews of Tom explaining his process of doing these voices, it really just exemplifies how this really is his true calling in life. This man was put on this planet to spread joy through his voice acting, and this scene right here sparked so much joy for me. With Filbert finally out of his shell, Rocko asks him why he's always so scared of going out on Halloween every year. Filbert starts to sweat bullets as he explains that it all stems from his childhood and his crazy Aunt Gretchen. We cut to a flashback of Filbert as a young hatchling whose parents loved going out for parties on Halloween night. Every year, they would end up leaving him with crazy Aunt Gretchen.
She was raised in an aquarium, but refused to ever come out, so she grew into it. She hated Halloween, and all night she told me terrifying stories. But the worst thing she told me was that candy was poison, and if I even touched one piece, the Hopping Hessian would come and take me away.
Yep, classic fear-mongering. Sounds about right. Don't do the thing that I don't like you doing, or you will suffer severe consequences brought on by something imaginary. Yes, familiar. I do have to say though, Aunt Gretchen is really creepy. Jeez, just look at this lady. She just looks so angry, and with that giant tank around her, she's kind of giving the Jackal from 13 Ghosts. Just a little bit. I did get a good laugh out of her falling over and the water from the tank draining. That's what you get for spreading your fear-mongering. Karma. Back in current times, Filbert's friends essentially disregard his fears and trauma as they shove him out of his trailer and go trick-or-treating with him. He argues, but they pay him no mind as we cut to them hitting their first house.
Trick or treat!
Well, aren't we scary? Wait a minute. You've been here already.
What? No, I haven't.
Oh, yes, you have.
But
Shame on you.
You went out already?
No, she's crazy.
I cannot handle this. This show is way too hilarious. Of course, really big man is out trick-or-treating, dressed up as Rocko, and whistling the Rocko's Modern Life theme song. Honestly, I hope that whoever came up with this joke got a raise, because this is straight up genius. I've got to be honest with every single one of you. I found myself thinking at one point that Rocko and his friends are in their 20s, and it's kind of odd that nobody is questioning them trick-or-treating, and furthermore, this lady even treated them like they were little tiny kids. But with that being said though, in a world where it's perfectly acceptable for really big man to dress up and go trick-or-treating, it totally makes sense. I'm sure the three of them blend in with the crowd perfectly. Before we move on though, I have to take a second to rewind just a bit and give a little praise to that sick shot of the evil orange moon watching over them as they trick-or-treat. This is so wicked. I dig it. After that, we see some other kids catch up with them as they all trick-or-treat Gladys Hippo's house.
Trick or treat! Well, ain't this a fine thing? Oh, let's see, I believe I might have some goodies off screen here. Goodies!
I just love the subtle fourth wall break there with Gladys saying that she's got some candy for them off screen. That's just classic Rocko. I also have to say too, it is just a little odd seeing Gladys without those iconic sunglasses that she is always wearing. I don't know, it's just a little different. In all of the commotion of these kids grabbing candy like crazy, Rocko ends up with candy stuck to his face, and as he approaches Filbert, who is just confused having never even seen candy before, his friends tell him to eat it, not realizing the can of worms that they're about to open. Filbert pops the piece of candy in his mouth, and all bets are off.
Filbert, what's wrong with you?
Help me. Vroom, vroom.
Filbert sprints up to the door where that same group of kids from before is trick-or-treating, and after smacking them out of the way, he's met by a bird who asks him what he's supposed to be dressed up as.
Give me the ball.
Oh, no. We must say trick or treat.
Give me that blasted ball! What? Pennies? Are you insane? I need sweets, licorice whips and bubblegum, caramel popcorn and wax lips.
Okay, this lady clearly just doesn't get it. Filbert doesn't just want candy now. That's childish. He needs it. And when you need something, that's a responsibility. In all seriousness though, the way Filbert said that he needs sweets, licorice, and bubblegum reminds me so much of MCP Pants from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I need candy, bubblegum, and taffy. Get my way, punk, you're gonna get your ass beat.
With Filbert's newly acquired candy addiction taking control, he climbs over this lady and into her house as Rocko and Heifer chase after him. They end up finding him in the kitchen, full-blown guzzling an entire bag of sugar. By the time he gets the last bit of the bag down his throat, he's reached full-blown hysteria, hallucinating about ice cream fudge sundaes and himself as a chocolate gargoyle, kind of like something straight out of Fantasia.
Filbert, come back!
Candy. Come drop. Ow.
Man, this entire sequence here is just such a trip. It's so crazy the way they were able to portray all of these odd events so intensely. Like, the transformation from Jagged Crag to Chocolate Gargoyle was one thing, but when he starts manipulating gummy bears with his hands, I started to think maybe I was the one tripping out. This went on even further at the point where all of Filbert's teeth transform into tiny versions of himself, and the gumdrop that he's chewing on follows suit. This right here, at face value, is freaking wild, dude. This is just pure insanity. However, there's totally a metaphor here behind all of this, as you can easily replace candy with literally anything that invokes positive feelings, and it still translates. We see Filbert try candy for the first time and fall in love so fast with everything about it. The taste, the smell, the feel, and of course, the intoxicating effects. Then he rides his high until he finds the house he targets for his next fix. He angrily storms into a stranger's house, frustrated that it's already been too long since his last candy, and in his hallucinations, we see him living a nightmare where his obsession with candy turns him into a behemoth of a monster that doesn't even realize that he isn't chewing a gumdrop. He's chewing himself up, using himself as the tool to destroy his being in the process. All of this as a result of trying something that he thought was harmless at the recommendation of his best friends. Yeah, massive metaphor here. We see Filbert run out of his own mouth and across a bridge, past the old abandoned photo hut. The same exact photo hut where the Hopping Hessian lost his leg many decades ago. Rocko and Heifer are terrified at the thought of going near it. However, they know that their best friend doesn't realize how much danger that he's in. We see Filbert hallucinating that he's eating massive candy bars in a Willy Wonka-esque landscape of sweets, but in all reality, he's just tripping out, losing his mind, and chewing on a gravestone in a cemetery. Rocko and Heifer approach and help him up.
Oh, Rocko, I'll never eat another treat as long as I live. Crazy Aunt Gretchen was right.
Shh, that's okay, Filbert. Come on.
Where are we?
Deep in the Black Woods, near the cemetery beyond the old photo hut.
Heifer.
Sorry.
I no longer care.
Filbert has officially transcended this plane of existence at this point and has reached the enlightened state of no longer caring. They keep walking along and a tiny sound makes Heifer and Rocko freak out, but Filbert keeps walking peacefully, saying that it was just the sound of a twig snapping. As they approach the old abandoned photo hut, they come across a cute little pink bunny standing in the path.
Hey, look behind you.
The Hopping Hessian!
Just like that, Filbert's transcendental state of bliss comes to a very abrupt end and he's back to fearing for his life. He sprints for dear life down the path towards the photo hut, screaming that he's sorry to Aunt Gretchen and that he should have listened to her.
Hurry, Filbert. Almost there.
He's got a leg!
After that, we fast forward to exactly 1 year later, on Halloween night yet again. We see Filbert's trailer plastered in no trespassing signs and boarded up just like before. He opens up the window and takes in just how beautiful of a night that it is outside.
Boy, oh boy, yes you, the smart one. Could you tell me, young man, what night this is?
It's Halloween, for Pete's sake.
Halloween night! Then I haven't missed it.
Okay, so first of all, I am so confused. Halloween last year ended with some pretty grim implications. We saw Filbert's glasses broken and landing in the creek as it's presumed that the Hopping Hessian got them. Yet, here we are a year later, and Filbert is not only still alive, but also he's excited that it's Halloween? Who is this man and what has he done with Filbert? I will admit though, I'm not too sure what's more confusing, him being still around and psyched for the holiday, or the fact that the little boy who's out trick-or-treating had a deeper voice than all three of the main characters who are supposed to be men in their 20s. To be fair though, pretty sure he has a voice deeper than mine, so who am I to talk? We cut on over to Rocko's house where Filbert excitedly runs up to the door and lets himself in.
Happy Halloween, fellas.
Hey, Filbert! Hey, there's you, Gordon.
There I go.
Oop, there we go into the creek.
Whoa! Good one of you, Hessian. Scary!
The group all sit merrily around the projector screen, reflecting on how great last year was, and how Hessian and Gordon the Leg scared the pants off of Rocko and his friends.
So you and the Hopping Hessian served together in the Revolutionary War, huh?
Yes. Actually, he's a friend of a friend. Helped me move a couple of years back. I like to help him out.
Oh my god. This is just too much. The Hopping Hessian is really just an old senile ghost, and Gordon the Leg likes to help him out because he did him a favor a long time ago. Now they both go out scaring people on Halloween as a yearly tradition. Like, seriously, what is even happening here? This is all just so out of pocket that it's almost hard to keep up with. I mean, there's not too many moving parts here, but boy, are they moving in ways that I had never expected them to. Filbert stands there completely bewildered and confused as to what's happening here. Rocko explains to him that they're watching a slideshow of last year's Halloween, and he invites Filbert to come sit down and join them. However, right at that exact moment, Gordon's watch alarm goes off and he tells the Hopping Hessian that they gotta get headed towards the old photo hut. Rocko says that it's time for him and Heifer to go out trick-or-treating anyways, and they all prepare to go their separate ways.
Happy Halloween!
See you later, Nitz.
Just a gosh darn minute. Who took those pictures?
Wow, now that's a plot twist ending. He does have a point though. It is kind of odd that they have a bunch of photos where they're all posing for the camera, yet no recollection of anyone else being there. The real plot twist though would be the revelation that the Hopping Hessian is just a senile, old, lovable ghost who loves playing practical jokes on people every Halloween. It's really funny though because this episode is just so weird, absurd, and off the wall that I really don't know how to feel about that ending. I mean, part of me thinks there should be this sense of satisfaction from knowing the truth behind the Hopping Hessian at the end, considering he's been brought up since the start of the episode, but like, it almost feels as if it doesn't matter because throughout the course of this one, there was just so much going on that I completely forgot that the Hopping Hessian was even a factor here. There was so much in this one that wasn't about him, and I guess on the exact other side of the coin, very little that really was about him. By the time they circled back to him, I almost forgot that he was even mentioned at all. If we really look at the big picture though, maybe the real Hopping Hessian was the friends we made along the way. You know, it is crazy to think about how much of this episode flew over my head as a kid. Like, there is just so much that's entertaining here in a simple-minded, pretty colors kind of way. But like, as far as the comedy and humor goes, a lot of that is really well thought out and requires just a bit of thought to connect the dots. I remember watching this one and just having no idea what the hell had happened. Like, no wonder I always thought that this show was insane. I was way too young to even understand half of the stuff that was happening or why it was even funny to begin with. To me, as a kid, this show was primarily just 11 minutes of chaos and nonsense for the sake of chaos and nonsense. The thing is, though, it didn't matter to me. I didn't even care because there was hilarity in all of that nonsense. Shows like Rocko's Modern Life really do have so much substance to them because they're portrayed in a way that opens it up for such diverse levels of audience who can consume the media and find humor in different places. Like, as a kid, you can see scenes like Filbert losing his mind on candy and sprinting down the street holding his friends in the frenzy, and you don't really have to look too far to find something to laugh at there. But as the adult who's watched this episode a few times over and you're approaching it with aged eyes, you can connect dots that you may not have thought of before, like the fact that Filbert is a turtle sprinting down the street at freeway speeds. And that's just one example too. There are so many more, not only throughout this specific episode, but also throughout the entire series in general. This episode was out there. It definitely had amazing moments, and it's one that I genuinely enjoy. What's really interesting though is the fact that this one actually came packaged with another spooky season sister episode. And well, with that being said, what do you guys think? Should I make a video about the sister episode attached to this one? Or should I maybe save it for next spooky season and move on to my next idea? Let me know in the comments down below. I always love seeing your guys' feedback. Of course, huge shout out with all of the love in the world to my patrons, especially my friends in the True 90s Kids tier. I really appreciate all of you so much, and you bring me so much joy. If you're interested in maybe hearing me tell a super scary story, go ahead and click on this video on the left. If not though, hey, that's cool friend, no worries. Check out this awesome video on the right. If you enjoyed this one though, be sure to drop a like and give a little praise to the algorithm in hopes that it pushes this one to everyone else. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.